Hello everyone. The title of today's episode is Before Silence Speaks. Who is judging? And so, as we begin, let us go exactly to the question, where does conception begin? When we ask such a question, we begin to kind of realize that the answer is a sense of it's where your direct experience is. So there's a self-awareness to all that is conceived within your moment of experience of this life. And it is in an instant of your knowing of all cause and effect dynamics, but it is a presence. So you're here to come and know yourself through yourself. The self is situated in the self, as many mystics have said. So in a sense, as you have gone in nature and sat down, still and silent, and with an awareness to your being, you begin to see that it's as if in that stillness you're taking all ideas of self and you're observing them. So it's as if there's all senses of self, there's a sense of self, and then there's an observer of the sense of self. So you're aware that there's a sense of self. You're aware that there is something here. And you kind of see this leading to how you will begin to know yourself through a novel presence, and in a sense the change is not only feeling what you think should be constructed. There's a sense of destruction too, because just like a coin, one side we have chaos, one side we have order, and they're flipping the coin, and we're looking at change and chance. So let us think in the manner that who is the judge before language? There is emptiness, for the question is made out of language. But at the same time, perhaps what quantum entanglement can perhaps playfully suggest is that within the depths of our unknown, we still continue to know. And there's a simultaneous and multidimensional sense of being, through an awareness to all that is being done in that moment. For as the strings of space and time are pulled with teachings from a masterful black hole, every drop within this cosmic ocean was aware of its whole. Every single individual consciousness is present through an experience of collective consciousness. And that is why we begin to see that when there's human community, when there's love, when there's peace, and not an artificial peace, a peace that is constantly being created with in anew. You know, it's as if every year we're assuming that we're never going to just have one peaceful world. It's not just going to be utopia. We're constantly evolving. We're bringing chaos and order, and we are looking at the nature of the experience of the human species. And what perhaps we would see is that back in the day, there were certain people, these certain beings, and they were the rishis and the seers of thought. They were very observant and realized beings. And so it's as if they were, and they had a lineage of passing down this realization, and it was in a sense like, how would I say it? It was like a formless wind, a formless transcendental wind, that, in a sense, guided man from the glow of Andromeda. These beings, how Mr.Within would very playfully and poetically suggest who they were. It's as if their intelligence was a formless wind that was guiding all the crumpled leaves and all manifestation into the glow of a greater sense of collective existence. And we've had many beacons like this, you know. I find the essence of many religions and how they still continue to be preserved to be very noteworthy. What that means is many beings are aware of truth, but to be aware of the truth within, there is no truth seeker. There is innate knowing and being. And grace really does not need words. So before silence speaks, there is direct experience. And so when we ask who is judging, we are saying there is no judgment. Because it is our experience, we are extracting meaning. All these words that I'm speaking, you are interpreting them in a certain way. And others around you are interpreting them in their own way. And it's all based on how we have taken steps in the past to somehow come to a present, which is really always moving to the future. So it seems that the past and the future were just connected. So it's as if this connection was always present, so there was no connection. And in a sense, playfully, what is being communicated is what many seers and sages had said in the past, to be in the world but not of it. You are here, you are aware that you're here directly experiencing, but the reason you are not of it is because you are realizing that this sense of consciousness you have, this moment of experience, how it is kept is through a knowing beyond time and space, for you will transition out of a dualistic realm of constant change. So what that means is right now man is at a normal, you will take this normal to a level where it will not be insanity, it will be like eons ahead of your insanity, and you'd begin to see, you'd go into a realm of just confronting movement, you know? So it's that moment where you're no longer trying to swim in the ocean, you're just floating and just observing, you know? Or very playfully, you want to understand the nature of the ground of your backyard, and you just lie down on the ground and looking at the stars, you know? In selfishness, you may gain certain abilities, but you limit the range of self-awareness to the absolute nature of this reality. That there is a sense of soul, as some have called, or spirit, or consciousness that is within all that is. What that means is, when I began to, when someone judged me, you know, I kind of took it to the extreme, and I just sat down and I'm like, what did they judge? And I noticed it was one aspect of life judging another aspect of life. And I wondered who was aware of that relationship. And so when you ask who is the seer, your self-inquiry is taken to a direct knowing that is your intuition, which was always the words you had heard. For some reason, you felt like you were not here. Your existence and your experience is how you will activate an ability to handle reality, where multidimensionality is not some fruity idea, but it is to recognize the seeds that has, in a sense, sprouted from this soil of manifestation. So what that means is from non-existence we have come into existence. And it seems that the bodies of the future will have to acknowledge non-existence. We have to study our emptiness. And in doing so, who is studying? And there is the liberation of direct experience of life as life, or as absolute consciousness, or supreme consciousness, or the chirp of a bird consciousness. And the seers of thought were very graceful beings, very realized beings, that they landed this content down. What that means is man needs more than the physical mirror, you know? What that means is if you look around in your environment and you still see people punching, oh gosh, the mirrors are not good enough. We need to look at the nature of who we are, and in doing so, there is a transparency and a sense of freedom. Because the freedom is not coming from your response to domination. It is coming from the nature of always being free. It is naturally being. You are naturally existing. I feel we all need to hand clap for every being that is naturally existing in the cosmos, right? And so playfully, presence will take you beyond personality, so there will no longer be judgment days every time you go into a new environment or you get rid of the trash. It's very crucial to attain through a sense of knowing through innate being. So perhaps if you were to look at the human experience, you would see that what is very fascinating about the human experience is that in questioning itself, it has come to explore non-existence. And the brightness continues. Before silence speaks, who is judging? Much blessings and namaste.